or casual.
TwoCowsGaming fans, I'm John Kael, and I'm back with another raid tutorial. Today we are talking about the starter hero Kael. He is an attack champion from the Dark Elves faction. He's one of the 4 champions you get to choose when you start your account, and he is the kind of the quintessential poisoner that you get right out of the gates when you start your adventures in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, he is a Magic Affinity champion, just like all the other 4 or the other 3 starter champions are. But you can use him in when you're first starting out your account. You can use him in all factions of the game. He's great in every single area of the game. Early game, mid game, you're going to probably focus more on Demon Lord, Dragon, and Ice Golem. Late game, I'd probably only use him for Dragon. Because by the time you reach late game and end game, you're going to have so many other champions that do a much better job than Kael with poisons and attack and bringing more to the table. But as far as a rare champion goes, he is fantastic. Now I have 2 Kaels built on my account. This is kind of a representative of a starter Kael that you can build. Now, I am using 6-star gear. Recently, I did a purge of all my gear, getting rid of all of the 5-star gear except for pieces that belong to a 9-piece set, like your Stone Skins, your Merciless, your Supersonics, that kind of thing. So I have them equipped right now in 4 pieces of Perception. That is a artifact set that you actually can forge with materials that you get from farming faction wars. And then I also have him equipped with 6-piece speed, or I'm sorry, 2-piece speed artifacts, gloves, and boots that you can farm from the Palace of Aravia campaign and also from the Dragon Dungeon. Taking a quick look at how I've got him built. I have him with a crit rate and speed and accuracy on his weapon, his hat, his helmet. I have crit rate, crit damage, and attack. The hit points are kind of what the helmet's main stat is. For shield, I have crit rate and resistance, and a little bit of hit points for survivability. Boots, speed. Speed is always the way to go. Now, as far as a starter champ, he's 5-star. I have 182 speed. Nothing really to write home about, but it gets the job done early game. And then for the chest, I have attack. I have an attack chest with an attack flat stat, resistance, and hit points. And then finally, the gloves I have fully upgraded. They are crit rate gloves to give me that 60% on his crit rate, because you want to build to 100%. So looking at his total stats, now understand I don't have all of the gear upgraded fully, but he's got 21,000 hit points, an attack of 1902, defense of 1086, speed of 182, crit rate of 105, and crit damage of 66. That's going to go up quite a bit when you equip an amulet, and also you can push that up with different type of gear like crit rate sets, which are farmable from Fire Knight, or if you build with substats in crit rate or crit damage. I mean, as far as accuracy, I only have 148 accuracy on him right now. That can be pushed with different stats. Being that I'm using 4 pieces of perception, I'm getting 80 points right there for the accuracy stat. But again, you're going to get better gear and you're going to have better opportunities to push that with glyphs that you can farm from the faction wars. So we're going to take a look at how he does as a campaign farmer first, kind of like what I did with Alhain and Galek in my previous 2 campaigns, or my previous 2 videos, sorry. I always struggle with talking. And once again, we're going to go to Palace of Aravia. We're going to go on hard first. And we're just going to go straight to the main baddie at the end. We're going to change this up. Got it sorted by rarity. And we're going to pair him with some other rare champions that I have. Being that he's an attack champ, we're going to put him down here. As far as support, I think we're going to run him with Apothecary to get that speed. We're going to run him with the Elhain that I built before. We're going to get the hit point bump. And then we're going to run him with the Galek that I built for the previous video as well. So, as you can see, Apothecary actually has 4-star soul awakened. But he's not really wildly geared either. So we're just going to do a quick battle here so you can see how effective farming is. And then we're going to run him by himself on hard. But as you can see, with 3 out of the 4 core champs in the group, 12 seconds you can farm on hard. Let's take a look at how he does by himself. Oops. Sorry about that. We're going to go Palace of Aravia again. This time we're going to farm with just him. And as you can see, he gets 15% hit points in all battles. I think what we'll do is we'll just run him with a food champ just to kind of mess around a little bit. 3 food champions, nothing really fascinating there. But let's see how he does as a farmer. Cleared that wave. It's going to struggle a little bit on this wave, I think. But he should be able to get it done. This is on hard. It's not anything really terrifying. Well, maybe not. Cleared that wave. Now he's up to the boss. This might be tricky because they do get a reflect damage here in a second. But maybe we'll get lucky. Now, the affinity... The reason I chose Palace of Aravia is because the affinity favors him. So as you can see, 32 seconds. Not my personal best, but it'll get you through. You know, if you're farming food or you know, yeah, if you're building up food, he's very quick. He's even better when you get him to 6-star and fully leveled. This particular one is not fully booked. So we'll just go ahead and take a look at recently used first. Look at his abilities. His kit is poison. And if you ascend it, he gets an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Fills the turn meter of this champion by 25% for each enemy killed, which is huge when you are farming because, you know, he's going to go faster and faster. And then, again, with his A3 Disintegrate, he attacks 4 times at random, and he can poison. He brings a lot of poison. We already talked about his aura. We're not going to spend a lot of time there. So that is the 5-star Kael. No awakening, no ascension, no books. And we're going to actually drop him into Brutal Campaign now with that same group of other champs, other starter champs. And we'll just see how they do on Brutal. We're going to flip-flop here. We're going to leave him in the lead. So we have Galek at 5 stars, Elhain at 60, 6-star, Apothecary 6-star, and then him at Kael at 5 stars. So let's see how they do in Brutal here. Very quick, right to the point. And even without being booked, he's doing all right. 16-second farm. And again, like I said in my 2 previous videos, the Elhain and Galek that I have are not geared with anything that you can't farm. They're geared with crit rate sets and speed sets, I believe, which you can easily get your hands on. Another set that you might want to try out is the poison set that you can get from the dragon. And so you can kind of up his chances of landing poisons if you want on any attack instead of just those 2, just his A1 and his A3. So he could be a pretty kind of nasty champion to run into or use in the early parts of the game when you're farming and trying to get better gear. So what we're going to do now is we are going to change it up, and we are going to actually throw in, I keep hitting the wrong button. We're going to go to campaign mode brutal, or no, nightmare, and we're going to use the awakened Kael that I have. And we're going to run him with the awakened champions that I have. Again, those actually, the Galek that I have is the awakened Galek I have is actually in pretty good gear. I think he's in Relentless and Merciless, maybe. But we're going to still run the same champs as we did before. Where is my Kael? And this is my awakened Kael. Now, the gear that he's running is, frankly, it could be better. So let's take a look at this. I'm running Savage gear. As you can see, none of it's fully upgraded, except for the banner. I believe that's okay. It's not even an accuracy banner. I just kind of threw this together. But again, the Savage gear is farmable from Fire Knight, and that allows you to bypass... Oh, you know what? I got to change one piece of gear here. So let's hope we have a shield. Oh, I don't even have enough silver to do it, I don't think. So we're just going to run them as is. But you're going to see, running on Nightmare, we should be able to clear this dungeon pretty easily. Now, granted, again, all 4 of the champions I'm using are awakened, and they do have some, I don't want to say great gear, but some solid gear. But again, Relentless you get through faction wars and through completing competitions. Sorry, not faction wars, just through like completing different campaigns. So like, you know how you have like Dragon Time Attack or Ice Golem Time Attack. You get rewards for Relentless gear. And it just, eventually you get so much Relentless gear in your chest, you actually have to go through it and decide what you're going to keep and what's worth keeping. It's a good way to get silver, but, again, not crazy gear on these champs. I mean, if you really want to get crazy, you could put like Slayer gear on them or Merciless gear on them and really push the limits of what they can do. Now this farm is going to take a little bit longer. But again, it's not like a bananas team. And they're doing okay on Nightmare. Now, you may not get 3 stars. It may be hard to do Nightmare with just 2 rare champions, but it'll at least get you progressed along the campaign path. And this is where that accuracy, I only have his accuracy at about 190 or 200, and that's where that accuracy kind of hurts. But again, 172,000. He was only behind Galek as far as damage dealing, so not bad. Now we're going to actually move into the dungeon, and we're going to just mess around with Dragon a little bit. We'll start with Dragon 10. And again, we're going to run readily available champs. We're not going to go bonkers here. We're going to throw... we're just going to throw the regular... Kael in there, along with regular Elhain and regular Galek. As far as support, we'll do Apothecary. And then we'll scroll all the way to the other end here, and we will see... Actually, we're going to sort it by rarity this time. And we're going to see what I've got for support units. I don't think I have a whole lot that I can use. We'll throw Gear Grinder in there. Well, he's awakened. Yeah, we'll throw Gear Grinder in there just for now. Just because he has a revive that comes in handy. Again, I don't think he has real crazy gear, but there they go. They go to work right away. Dragon, normal. And the name of the game is damage. How fast can you farm him? And later on, you'll get High Katoon. You'll get different champions that can really boost your speed and make a big difference. But yeah, I mean, Gear Grinder is an HP champ. The rest, well, and then Apothecary support, but these three are your attack. You want to do as much damage as possible. We should be able to finish this up in under a minute. It's going to be close. There you go. 52-second farm. I probably won't keep that gear, but that's destroy set. That actually destroys enemy max hit points by 40% of the damage dealt. So if you have a really hard hitting damage dealer, you're gonna destroy their max hit points by 40% of whatever attack. Okay, we're gonna move up to Dragon 15. Now I don't expect them to be successful here. Is that for stage 15? We're gonna use the same group. This affinity favors them, and we're just gonna see what they can do. And again, we're just using basic gear, nothing super fancy. Gear that's easily farmable or obtainable through different contests and different campaigns. We're gonna get hung up here on the Crimson Defender or whatever she's called, just because she has that undamageable block all damage buff. So this run's going to be a little bit over a minute. I wish I had built his accuracy a little bit higher so you could actually see him land some poisons. Different compositions you can use him in is pure damage, like this. We're going to lose him. Or you can use him in... Oh, no. There's a clutch heal right there. And another heal. You can use him in Arena Blender teams to drop those poisons. But then you can also, if you get different champions like Venom Mage or Zavia, you can create a poison explosion team, and he can be very effective there because those champions can detonate all poisons on a target. And if you stack up to, I think it's 10 instances of poison, you can do a lot of damage. But because his accuracy is pretty low, he's not landing as much poison here. There he landed an instance of it. But poison adds up. When it stacks up like that, there we go. We got 3 poisons. It really does add up. And if you use him in a poison explosion team, he can be very effective. I like running him with Zavia or Venom Mage. Now, Venom Mage is an epic. Zavia is a legendary. But they are very effective poisoners. And then if you have Lydia, which you get as a free champion if you complete all of the Faction Wars content, she actually has a instance of I forget what it's called. Basically, weakness to poison, so that when you poison something, the poison's more effective. We might take a big hit here. I don't know if we can do enough damage before it blows fire all over the team, but we should survive. We might lose Elhain, but we'll see. There it is, another instance of poison. Okay, they're all stunned, but that's not a big deal. So there you go. With just junk gear, basically, that I haven't upgraded on Kael, we were able to do Dragon's Lair 15. We got a 4-piece lifesteal set. Now, lifesteal would also increase his survivability. This normally, like in a early game account would be useful because you have crit damage, crit rate. But the cool thing is if you have 4 artifacts equipped of the same set, your champion would heal 30% of the damage dealt. So, yeah, I mean, basically, Kael is a completely passable champion. Again, he finished second in damage, right behind Elhain. A lot of that came from the poisons, and then Galek finished third because he's a pure damage dealer. Most of his stuff is melee or flame, but he doesn't have an HP burn or anything like that. But that's kind of the beauty of Kael, is he brings a lot of poison to the table. He's probably the best starter champion to choose. If I had to rank them, because there's 4 of them. There's Galek, there's Kael, there's Elhain, and then there's Aethel. I would choose either Kael or Aethel. Aethel will be in my next video. We're going to talk a little bit about why she's so great. But one of her big things is her A1 is a 3-hitter, and that's massive, especially when you're trying to farm Fire Knight. But that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Kael, how I built him, how you can use him early game and mid game, and even a little bit going into the late game to farm and get some better gear. Other than that, I hope y'all have a great weekend. I just want to remind you, if you like what you see or if you have suggestions, hit that like and subscribe, and then down in the comments, tell me some of the champions you'd like to see me do a showcase on. Now, I have quite a few champions. I'm kind of focusing on rares right now, because I think early game players are turned off because they don't know the insides and the in and out of how to build teams. So I'm focusing on rares. But if you have a rare that you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. I've got a whole bunch in my account that I can review, and we'll go ahead and talk about them. Also, I want to remind you that tonight I'll be streaming Doom Dark Ages on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Just look up TwoCowsGaming. You'll find me pretty easy. Otherwise, the link is right there in the video description. I'm John Kael. Have a great week. Finish to your week, everybody. Remember, be safe, be kind, and no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you matter and you are loved. Take it easy, everybody.